You are listening to the Maple Footy Podcast, the unofficial football podcast of the North. I'm your host, Sam Little. Find me on socials at SamLittle44 and the podcast at Maple Footy Pod. And now there's nothing left to say except for sit back, enjoy, and welcome to the show.
Hello, yes, and welcome back to the Maple Footy Podcast. And today we have a very special guest on. She just finished her first season with OPL 3 team expansion side, Richmond Hill SC. She grabbed 7 goals for herself in the inaugural campaign. It's a pleasure to welcome Celeste Gordon to the podcast. So, Celeste, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Sam. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Thank you. I'm glad. And I like to start all these off kind of the same way, just kind of why soccer? Like there's so many sports in
Mm,
Canada. What made you want to pursue this sport? How long you've been playing? And yeah, all that fun stuff.
For sure. So, alongside a number of sports growing up, I played soccer. I started playing from a very young age.
Mhm.
I think I was very active. I always liked to be running around outside. I was competitive. And so, at the age of 8, my parents put me in rep, and then I
Mhm.
moved through OPDL and then League One and so forth.
Yeah,
So, just playing it
yeah,
throughout
that's
my years.
that's awesome. And was it also like because a lot of people will say that it was like their parents or maybe their siblings that like really nurtured the love for them like while they were a kid? Was that kind of the case for you, or were you kind of like the trailblazer, like the first one to kind of be going through soccer and everything?
I was the trailblazer.
Yeah,
Like my dad comes from a very athletic background, so he was a big part of my upbringing in sports. And I have a
yeah.
brother who plays basketball as well. But I naturally fell in love with soccer. Like I'm very competitive. I like running on the pitch, so that was just natural love at first sight.
Fair, fair. I like it. And then, did you end up playing any sports, any other sports where you were growing up? Like you mentioned basketball from your father.
Totally.
Did just soccer or anything else?
No, I played basketball. I
Yeah,
ran track, did some swimming, baseball. I was very active growing up. Like I
yeah,
just gravitated towards sports. I
yeah,
think I was just a very kinesthetic learner. Like I didn't like sitting still at all.
yeah.
So my parents threw everything at me, and then naturally I fell in love with soccer, which I'm very grateful for.
Awesome. Yes. And then, of course, like growing up, we all kind of have those players that we kind of gravitate towards. Was there any kind of player that you like to kind of look up to in a sense, kind of maybe model your game after, or just like really enjoyed?
Yeah, I love watching Khadija Shah. I
Mhm.
mean, her style of play is just phenomenal. She's very direct and demanding. I think very clinical in front of the goal.
Yeah.
So I idolize her a lot. I watch her play and just try to pick up different tactics that she does during the game. So definitely Khadija Shah and I think it's Neymar is just like a big one as well.
Yeah. But that makes sense though too, especially because you're naturally an attacker yourself. So it makes
Yes,
sense that you're kind of gravitating towards those kind of attacking and flair kind of players, right?
totally. Yeah.
That's awesome.
They're great to watch.
Yes. And then of course, how would you kind of describe your own playing style? Would you say you're kind of a like a very direct winger, or kind of a free flowing attacker? Like how would you kind of describe your playing
Uh,
style?
yeah, I would say I'm creative. I'm direct.
Mhm.
I like to play with my midfield and striker a lot, like combination play.
Yeah.
I do like to run as well, like making those runs behind.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I'm physical, I'm aggressive. I like the ball at my feet all the time, and any chance I can score, I like to create those chances for myself and my team.
No, that's awesome. Kind of like the modern day winger almost,
Mhm.
right? Like you can do a little bit of everything because now it's not just expected a winger to get in there and for the attacks. Like you mentioned the running and the tracking
Mhm.
back. So
Absolutely, yeah.
how do you kind of stay in those match conditions where like you're getting tired and we're in the 60th, 70th minute, you've been running
Mhm.
all game. How do you kind of stay motivated throughout that 90 minutes to like keep going and keep
Dig
pushing, keep the
deep.
running? Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely about discipline. I think I've done a good job in training my mind in that case. Like playing soccer for so many years, you have to be disciplined. You can't let go in the 89th minute because
Mhm.
anything can happen. So I try to think back to scenarios and games where we've lost by 1 point in the final minute. And I'm just like, I don't want that feeling again. I don't like that. And just ultimately digging deep and believing in myself and just telling myself you can't give up because anything can happen.
Has there been like a moment in your professional career that's kind of really stuck out to you, like a moment where you go, "Oh yeah, I'm really proud of that," or a game or a goal even, just anything like that that's really stuck out and you go, "Yeah, I'm proud of that."
There has been quite a few, but I'd say the biggest moment is establishing a new life in England, playing football over there. I
Okay.
think, yeah, I made sort of the decision to play over there, and that they have different style of play and the structure of play is very physical and demanding, whereas in Canada I find it to be more like in Canada they played more structured.
Yeah.
Sorry, and so that difference made me adapt, and I had to sort of step out of my comfort zone in that case.
No, that's awesome. And I did not know that you went to England. So that kind of opens up a whole new can of worms of questions to ask you here.
Okay.
So this is
No
awesome.
worries. Yeah.
When about did you go to England and for how long was that?
Yeah, so I went 4 years ago. I
Okay.
graduated last year, so that was an exciting time in my life. Played football over there, studied sports business.
Oh,
So yeah, I picked up football. It was great. It's a great experience.
that's awesome. How did the opportunity kind of come about? Was it through soccer or was it through schooling or something else?
Yeah, it was through soccer,
Yeah.
so it was blessed to be offered a soccer scholarship in that case. And then the sports business side sort of came from my own like interest.
Yeah.
But yeah, a coach reached out to me online, just sort of through LinkedIn type of thing. And
Yeah.
so I was really excited to take up the opportunity.
That's awesome. Wow. And whereabouts were you situated in England?
I was just north of Manchester in a city
Okay.
called Preston.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. And now
It,
coming back to Canada, what did you kind of playing style, like kind of how what did you bring back here from England? Because you mentioned it's a bit more physical. So
Yeah,
kind of bring that aspect, or was there
I
anything else that you
did.
kind of
I did bring a lot of the physical aspect and I would say the t tactical side of things, like the combination play. They do a lot of that in England and Europe. So yeah, that was just one of the things that I now do with my midfield, the
yeah.
combination play, and I
Yeah.
really enjoy it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that kind of makes sense because you were kind of mentioning that earlier with the combination play
Mhm.
and the physicality. So that makes a whole ton of sense. That's really cool. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Um, and now back into some of the questions I had already
Yeah.
prepared.
Mhm.
You're a bit of a versatile player as well, to my understanding from some of your college profiles and everything. Being able to play along the forward line as long as an attacking midfielder. Where did
Mhm.
that versatility kind of come from for you?
Totally. I really enjoy stepping in different positions. I feel like I like stepping out of my comfort zone. So,
Mhm.
growing up, I've been a striker, but just recently I've been on the wing, but also in the
Mhm.
midfield and even sometimes defending. So,
Okay.
yeah, I really like switching up my style of play. I'm really creative on the ball too. So it just flows to me. It's fun trying new things.
Oh, that's awesome. And then is there a position or role that like you really find yourself comfortable in? Of course, you mentioned striker and then winger. Is that kind of just where you just feel naturally at home?
Yes, definitely. I like scoring goals. I like creating
Yeah.
chances for my
Yeah.
wingers, for my midfield. So yeah, it definitely comes naturally. Um, yeah, I just love to be the team player that I am.
That's awesome. And then do you have like a conversation with your coaches of, I can play pretty much anywhere, or is it just kind of something that kind of happens throughout a season or a game where they go, "Hey, we're going to try you at left back today," or,
Mhm.
something like that?
Yeah, I definitely let them know I can play pretty much anywhere. I
Yeah.
tell them my primary position striker, and so like naturally I'm quick and I like to finish in front of the goal, clinical in the sense. Well, I'm trying to be more consistent, but
Yeah.
yeah, naturally I'm a striker, but I do tell them that I can play in the mid. Wing, really anywhere. And I've been just grateful to pick up those positions along the way and for them to trust me in them as well.
That's awesome. And then, of course, each game can be a little bit different. How do you kind of change your reading of the game, depending on whether, say, one game your team's on the ball a lot,
Yeah.
like as an attacker, you like being on the ball and
Mhm.
creating those chances, versus maybe some games where you kind of have to be a little bit more defensively rigid, pressing a lot more. And
Yeah.
how do you kind of change that leading up to a game and during the game?
I definitely read the style of play early on. So if a team is more direct, I try and be first to second balls. And if a team keeps more possession, then that's where I know like I have to be in the space at the right time, just like those little tiny minor adjustments.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's read early on and I try and make those adjustments as quick as I can.
Oh, that's awesome. And then does a part of that also come from trusting in your coach as well? To be like, okay, like he set us up this way, and now you
Yeah,
just kind of have to listen, take those instructions, try to implement that best during the 90.
totally. Like I have to learn how to adapt.
Yeah.
Being on the field, you just have to be smart. Like it's not all about like your style of play, but it's your football IQ. So
Mhm.
yeah, this year my coach he would give us a play, but it's just all about adapting, and I think the team does really well at doing that.
That's awesome. And then also, of course, as an attack-minded player, confidence can be a pretty big part of your game as well. So maybe when you're not scoring as much or form per se dips, how do you kind of navigate those tougher spells to try to get back to, the goal scoring and feeling good and playing well?
So I've been very grateful to be a part of a team that's very uplifting.
Yeah,
So that helps a ton.
yeah,
And I think just remembering that football, it's all about unpredictability. So you
yeah,
just never know what happens, but it's just staying strong and believing in yourself. Like I really do try and dig deep because I'm very competitive. So
yeah.
whatever I can do to help the team, I just try and do that. And even those small wins, like being second to a ball or making a slide tackle, that kind of gives me that extra confidence boost.
Yeah, especially a good slide tackle. I think
Yeah.
people underestimate the power of a good slide tackle.
Oh, totally. Like that is probably what I look forward to most in a game. At least one. I need to get at least one.
100%. And then, of course, kind of the opposite end of that, when things are really going right and your confidence is at its highest, how do you kind of maintain that so you kind of keep in that flow and you're feeling good, you're playing well? How do you try
Yeah.
best to maintain that?
I definitely like to talk a lot on the field. I
Yeah.
encourage my teammates. I celebrate wins, like no matter how big or how small, just to keep the girls confident and myself as well. Like, I think that helps a ton using your voice and being vocal on the pitch.
Mhm.
So yeah, definitely just being the loud one, I would say.
That's awesome. And especially the team aspect of it too, because it
Mhm.
is of course a team sport. So can
Yes.
you kind of talk a little bit about how important the team relationship is between everybody, like,
Mhm.
communicating or, when you or one of your teammates is a bit down, those team moments, how important are those for you guys?
Yeah, team cohesion is very important. I think it makes a difference when we mesh together and we have each other's backs. We're not putting each other down, but we're uplifting each other. I think that's what makes a game because it's a 90-minute game. It's hard. It's going to be rough. You're going to lose balls, tackles. But if we all have each other's backs and we're celebrating these wins, then it does make a big difference.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And then something I like to do around here is give you a couple fun ones just to break up the interview for you.
Okay.
So first one is, do you have any like pre-match superstitions or routines that you kind of always faithfully follow and go, I have to do this before game day or the game?
Yeah, I'm not a very superstitious person, but before games, I like to ease my mind. I listen to music.
Yeah,
I would say it has to be Drake. Like each game day, he
fair.
does get me hyped. But ultimately, I like to be in a relaxed state of mind before I step on the pitch, just so I feel locked in.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Is there a song, like a go-to song for you, like from Drake?
Gotta be headlines. Gotta be
100%.
headlines by Drake. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Now, if you could pick a dream front three to play in the world, so you and then two others,
Two
who would
others.
kind of be the two other players that would make up that front three for yourself?
Yeah. Okay. So myself, I'd definitely say Khadija Shaw,
Yeah, yeah.
just because she's so clinical in front of the goal and just
Mm,
physical, strong. And then one more. I think here, probably Christine Sinclair. Like
has to be.
yeah,
Yeah,
she's a Canadian legend, and she's
yeah,
super just amazing in front of the goal as well.
yeah. And as a Canadian, you got to put her in there. She's
I
the
have
best.
to.
Yeah, she's the best.
Yes, shout out to Sinclair.
100%. And then, of course, my final one of these fun ones here. Is there a football memory away from your own playing career? So, like as a fan or anything that kind of sticks out to you where you go, yeah, this is why I kind of love this sport.
Yeah, I'd say when Canada we won gold in Tokyo. Like that
100%.
was a big achievement, and it just sort of showed young girls and women around the world that this can happen. Like if you really dig deep and believe in yourself, these accomplishments are totally attainable. So yeah, I was very proud of the girls for doing that.
Oh my gosh, that was so awesome too. I remember like waking up like at 4 in the morning to watch that game and
Yeah.
it goes all the way to penalties.
Mhm.
Brutal, but
Right.
so good. So
I was
worth it.
anxious, thrilled. Yeah, so many emotions running through my mind all
Yeah,
the
that was
time.
awesome.
It's great.
And now back into kind of the more like proper questions now.
Mhm.
Can you talk about moving through the ranks of development in Canada? Because I know that, there are just so many different pathways to go to. So can you talk about
Mhm.
some of those, some of the troubles and tribulations of kind of navigating through that system that Canada has?
Yeah, totally. I don't necessarily look at like the rankings or leagues. I kind of focus
Yeah,
more on like the competitiveness, like like what do those teams offer? Because
100%.
ultimately you're reading the players. So I see
Mm.
like, okay, this player does this well, or like this team has this type of squad, and that sort of lets me like show my style of play, like
Yeah.
how I'm gonna play against them.
No, awesome, 100%. And then can you also talk about the hard work and dedication that has to go into all those days, the nights, the long road trips and, cross country things? Because I know in Canada, it's so big and
Mhm.
everyone's playing everywhere. Can you kind of talk
Yes.
about all the hard work and dedication that has to go into all those?
Totally. Like it's definitely not an easy thing, but
Mhm.
it's totally worth it. So putting in the extra gym session at 9 a.m. or going on a sprint, like
Yeah.
these little things, they do make or break you ultimately. And it's just important to stay disciplined. Like
Mhm.
when you don't want to do something, you're still doing it and
Yeah.
motivated as well.
That's awesome. And then how do you kind of keep yourself to that discipline, hold yourself accountable? Because it's just so easy to go,
Yeah.
I don't feel like doing that extra rep at the gym. I don't
Mhm.
feel like doing that run. How do you hold yourself accountable for that?
I sort of envision the end goal of where I
Yeah.
want to be. That totally helps. Like I know if I slip off once, then it would
Mhm.
become a gradual pattern. So
Yeah.
consistency is very important to me as well. So once I get in the swing of that, then it's pretty easy and fluent to get going.
That's awesome. And now get into your kind of Richmond Hill season as well. How did
Mhm.
that opportunity kind of arise for you to join the team and, go on the journey that you guys did?
It's really so I actually did my own research on the club. I noticed there were going to be a new women's OPL league with the club. So
Yeah.
I reached out, attended a few trials, and then spoke to some coaches and ultimately landed a position on the team, which I'm so grateful for.
Yeah.
And it's been an incredible season.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I was reading up on the season. You guys were, especially for an expansion side too, like
Mhm.
doing some really great things. And
Yeah.
then what are kind of some of those exciting opportunities kind of come from playing for Richmond Hill and during that first season? Like what were some of those exciting moments for you guys?
Yeah, the energy was definitely high, like joining this club. I think everyone was excited to see what we could do
Mm.
for the program, being the first women's team. Like it's definitely a very big chance and opportunity. Like we want to build up the club as much as I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, trainings were just very fun. It was a great time. Like we just wanted to prove that, we can do this. Just
Yeah.
being the first club to have a women's team, like the first being in this league for the first time, it
Yeah.
just meant a lot for us to prove like we're good enough.
Yeah, and that kind of leads nicely into my next question of being the expansion side. Do you kind of feel that desire to really prove to not just everybody, but yourselves as well, to
Mhm.
kind of prove that, yeah, we can kind of do this and kind of what does that kind of mean for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts in trainings. They're always so intense, and we always push each other to do our best. Like, it's at the back of my mind, like, yeah, like we have something to prove type of thing. Like, we don't want to finish last. And
Mhm.
thankfully, we were able to finish mid-table.
Yeah.
And so next year, we just work towards being in the top two
Yeah.
and yeah, just working hard.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And then, of course, being the Richmond Hill's first OPL women's team as well,
Yes.
do you kind of feel that bit of history for the program and for the club itself, and being like, okay, almost like a badge of honor in a sense?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do wear that badge of honor. It's a great experience to be a part of something so new and fresh and to see where it leads to, honestly, and the accomplishments we make along the way.
That's awesome. And then, of course, speaking of accomplishments as well, you and your teammate Naomi were kind of in the Golden Boot race for a lot of the season.
Uh,
What does that kind of mean to you to kind of be a part of such an important part of the team's first season and, getting yourself 7 goals in an expansion side year? Like, that's pretty big.
yeah, I was proud of myself, proud of the team as well, and Naomi, an incredible player up front. I
Mm.
mean, like as a winger, what I want to do is score. I want to create chances. So the fact that we were in like a little title race was just great, and especially like being so high up in the league. I like believe she was like top two or three like the entire way. Like it was incredible to see. So yeah, very proud.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, were there any differences that you kind of noticed playing for the OPL side, Richmond Hill, that maybe were different from other places that you've kind of played? Like, did you kind of notice those playing style differences when you were with Richmond Hill?
Yeah, totally. So playing style Richmond Hill, I would say it's pretty direct, but then we
Yeah.
do some combination play in the midfield. Like because I've played with so many teams growing up, I'm able to adapt quickly. So it wasn't anything like major that I had to adjust to. But yeah, I mean, along the way, I'm able to just play whatever game is thrown at me.
That's awesome. And that kind of helps too, especially because one, you're very versatile, and two,
Mhm.
you have so many different traits that you're kind of bringing to your own game. So can you kind of talk about the importance of that versatility and the adaptability, especially throughout a big season, a big first season, like that has
Mhm.
to be a huge kind of X factor.
Yes, totally. I think the ability to adapt, it's not easy, but
Mhm,
it does help a lot because sometimes you're thrown in positions where you have to do something that you might not want to do, like play defense for maybe 10 minutes,
mhm.
but you're still going to be in that position, so you got to do the best you can. So it's really just trusting yourself, trusting your ability, and just proving something really, and ultimately helping your team to that win.
That's awesome. And yeah, always goes back to the team. Like, what can you best do for
Mhm.
the team, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And then, of course, the season did just kind of conclude with Richmond. What's kind of your overall feeling like walking away, like that pride, the just kind of what you take away from the season?
Yeah, I feel very confident with our season and going into next season. I think we learned a lot, and just being the first OPL women's team, we didn't finish like terribly last type of thing. I mean,
Yeah,
we did the best we could, and so moving forward, I just want to work hard and make it to the top of the table.
that's awesome. And then, kind of for you as well, on what are those kind of weeks and days leading up to a game day? What do those kind of like for you? Like, what does the preparation look like for you? What do the tactical talks kind of look like for you? Kind of,
Yeah,
what's that week in life kind of look like for you leading up to a game?
it's definitely a lot of nutrition. Um, would say just trainings, knowing what we're going into the game doing, what we need to achieve. I would say the day of, again, just relaxing my mind, making sure I'm at ease.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of it starts in training. Like that week is very intense, and we want to win, and we know what we have to do to get that win. So it's just a lot of pep talk and
Yeah.
just encouragement throughout.
That's awesome. And then, of course, now with the season kind of being over, what does your kind of footballing life kind of look like right now? Are you just training all the time? Like,
Yeah.
what are you kind of like doing to keep yourself busy now without the season going on?
Yeah, still moving, still active, still training when I can. I think going forward, I just want to develop as a player. I want to train hard, be the best player I can, and then see ultimately where my football takes me.
That's awesome. And coming into the last couple here for you, what are some goals you have for yourself and the future of your kind of footballing career? Like, what kind of goals do you foresee yourself having?
Yeah, so I definitely want to progress as a player, like just be better each time I step on the pitch.
Mhm.
I'd love to travel overseas,
Yeah.
play again, in Europe or just wherever, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just showcase my talent elsewhere in the world.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then kind of when are you kind of expected to kind of report back for Richmond as well? Because I know the season starts, I would assume kind of early next year, like
Yes.
it's usually April, May kind of thing for
hmm
OPL. So when do you kind of get those plans for, okay, this is what next season's kind of going to be looking like, or maybe those discussions
Yeah.
have already begun?
So discussions usually begin in the winter or like
Okay.
fall leading into the winter. So right now it's more like just a preseason, because m most girls are in school right now.
Yeah,
So yeah, discussions are more later on in the year. But yeah, once that happens, it's full focus on the season ahead, and we try and do the best we can in leading up to that in trainings and just working hard and showing up.
that's awesome. And then my final one here for you is a tradition here at Maple Footy is what I always like to ask you. What's something that you'd like the listeners to kind of know about you? Maybe it's play style, maybe it's you as a person, just anything that you kind of want the listeners to know about you. What would you like them to know?
Yeah, I'm very ambitious. I think I always want to improve my style of play. I'm creative. I like to take my chances on the pitch, and I guess like if you see me arguing with a ref, then just know I'm very passionate about the game.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and every ref I think has gotten
Mhm.
themselves a fair share of flack
Yes.
every now and
Oh
then.
yeah, totally. Like I need to pipe down, but just know that I am. I want that one.
It comes from a well-meaning
It
place.
does, yeah, a little constructive criticism here and there.
Exactly, and it can go a long way.
Again, yes.
Well, Celeste, thank you so much for doing this today. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, just good luck with everything, whether it be with Richmond or wherever your footballing career may take you. We'll always be a fan of you. So thank you
Oh,
so
I
much.
appreciate that, Sam. Of course. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was your Maple Footy podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Check my socials for any and all future updates. Remember to support Canadian football, be kind, and until next time, live, laugh, little.